you know who I am? I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Listen, big deal. You got another problem. Women always figure out the truth. Always.
This is so nuts. I mean, listen to what you're saying. It's paranoid delusion. It's really sad. It's pathetic.
Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
That is the weirdest thing you have ever said.
It's the Al Travis Show. We used to have Senator Nick Frentz on the program, good friend of the program. He introduced us to Steve Fink. They've been coming on for a while, and then we realized, what do we need Nick for? And we have him on with us today. Steve, thanks for being here, my friend.
Yeah, they're glad to be here, Al. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you on. I was actually quite hopeful when you said you come on, and I saw you coming up today. I want to talk about Charlie Kirk, and here's my process behind this. I think you and I align closely in some of the ways we would vote on things. I think the way we think is similar. Now, you're a bright man, I'm not, but you get the point. There's a spectrum here. When Charlie Kirk got shot, it was shocking to me. I think to many people. I didn't know him. I knew of him, and I followed some of his videos or whatever, probably because my kids did, and they're of the age group he was going after, college kids, and so I get it. I liked his style. I thought he was calm and cool, used his words. Anyway, that's who he was. But what got me, sir, is the next day. The next day I get up, and work came through, we got done, we were talking, whatever. And I told the wife, I'm going to go in the garage, have a cigar before she got home, just to, catch my breath. And I got on X. And I suppose I watched one video, maybe two, and then the algorithm said, here, let's show you all of them. But the amount of people dancing and singing and putting videos on about the death of Charlie Kirk and how happy that made them, it put me in a funk. I was saddened by humanity, and I know that's not everybody. Can you, I talked to him, your thoughts on the Charlie Kirk shooting?
No, I had a very similar reaction. I didn't feel good after I heard the news. I mean, I was literally, I didn't feel good. I had I don't know if it's a heavy heart, stomach ache, but it was just one of those things. I was very, kind of passive, just quiet, taking it all in and just realizing that this man was, assassinated because people didn't like his political views, even though he's not a politician, has no formal way of setting legislation. He's just an influencer. It was just an incredibly sad day. That's what would happen. And then the reaction from so many people, although again it's a fraction of the country, of course, but the celebration, the filming themselves celebrating was just, again, it was sort of you initially it was just sort of shock and like how dark are these souls that we're dealing with here? This is just unbelievable.
What do we do as society with those people? Obviously, guy who did it crazy, got him, now he's gonna go to jail. We have a system for that. What do we have for those that dance on the graves, if you will, pardon the expression? Because I'm a free speech guy. You have the right to say stupid crap. You do. I don't have to like it. I don't have to follow it. A lot of these teachers and professors are losing their job. Is that the moral consequence for saying stupid stuff? What is the right answer for those people?
Well, I think the dumber your statement, the more important it is to protect it, because we're not here for popularity. So absolutely, these folks have the right to say whatever they want to say. If I'm an employer, I also have the right to, subject to whatever collective bargaining agreement some of the folks might have. But What a statement. I would not want any company that I am a part of to be appears to be a representative position.
Yeah.
It was just, it was sad. I was more sad than angry. I got angry, but it was
Yeah.
more sad initially.
So, so shunning, if you will, is good. I guess I was talking to my church group, the young kids that got through confirmation class, the group I do on Sundays. And we're chatting about it because those kids knew Charlie Kirk, right? I mean, that was the audience he was going for, and they were hurt. And I apologize for him for our generation, sir. And here's what I mean by that. We must have the same kind of off-balance people when we were 30 years old, but we didn't have the internet yet. So that weird soul, or if you're in high school and he was talking weird crap, you just kind of ignored him. He went over there and he didn't have the power behind him to do bad things. We invent the internet for all kinds of good things, right? Information all in your phone, to be able to connect us all. We come up with this stuff not thinking what the negatives are. And guys like this kid could type in, "I hate Charlie Kirk" on some website and find 100 other people that'll go with him and say, "You're right. You know what? The best thing we do." And they start feeding on each other. We invented something, I think, that makes it, and what I get from guns haven't changed since you and I were kids. They're the same weapon. They do the exact same thing, but now they're being used differently. And I think it has to do with the interweb. I think we invented a place where nut jobs can find each other and convince themselves they're not nuts.
100%. If it just taking in all the people that are celebrating his assassination,
Yep.
if you were involved in that, in that group, you would say, well, the whole world's behind me.
Yeah.
People are super excited that I'm going to take this step, and not recognizing that, hopefully 99.99% of the world opposes your action. But yeah, the internet changes everything.
I don't want to bring this too far home because it's not about you and I, but you and Nick come on this program from both sides of the fence to discuss the issues of the day. Yeah, I get to do this every day. But when I say get to do this, it takes one lunatic to think, oh, I don't like Nick's or yours or mine. We saw what happened to the Hortmans and the Hoffmans. Does this change how we're going to do this from now on? It stifles free speech. I don't care how you do it, right? Either you're scared to death to say something because you could be the next Charlie Kirk, or you just don't say anything at all, right?
Correct. And that's the whole goal of over the top reaction is to silence a debate. And that's all Charlie Kirk was. He was a let's talk about this. I mean, it's one of the it's just the unbelievable irony of it all. The person who you didn't have to agree with him at all, but he would invite people who disagreed with him to take a mic, to go to the mic. I couldn't think of anybody who was more appropriate trying to further democracy.
And a lot of his beliefs come from his belief in God. He was a very big Christian man. I found him remarkable in his ability to quote the Bible. I some things I just can't do, and he could do those, which I also think made him a bad guy to some, because his beliefs didn't go with the common woke theories of today, and he backed it up with his thoughts on the Bible. All that being said, all you had to do is not click his videos. All you had to do is not go to his gatherings. I don't see how you get so mad at an individual you shoot them. I can't fathom.
I don't either. I think he was. I think his faith was a major. Was the determiner of his approach to life. Personally, when you're quoting the Bible, I'm always very cautious. I'm a Catholic by trade, I guess, for lack of a better word. And when you quote the Bible, it is almost always able to find another passage that would seem to either modify or contradict. And so when he was he was a fundamentalist as far as biblical reading too. He believed that the Earth was 6,000 or 6,500 years old or whatever that year is. which again then just immediately irritated all of the intellectuals. They couldn't fathom how anyone could believe that. Yet he was really very hard to debate. He knew.
See, but that's what's interesting about him. So, okay, and who's Tucker Carlson's another one. I was watching Tucker Carlson quite a little bit, and then all of a sudden you start talking about UFOs and this, and I'm like, all right, maybe I just got to temper my thoughts. You don't have to take all the Charlie Kirk, right? You can take what works. The shooting of a guy who, again, I love your idea, is not a politician. This guy could vote for nothing that would change your life. And yet the need to silence him was so big, and the people dancing and yelling are just beyond the pale. We've got things to talk about here in Minnesota. Can you go to a break real quick, Steve? We'll come back right after this. We'll talk some more.
Sounds good.
I got him. Steve Fink on the Al Travis Show.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Braver Angels Minnesota is part of a national movement that brings together conservatives, liberals, independents, and others to restore trust, respect, and goodwill in politics. We seek not to eliminate our differences, but rather deal with them head on, with respect and understanding. We do not try to change people's views, but how they view the other side. There will always be differences. Braver Angels Minnesota believes the best way forward is to change how we deal with those differences. Join the civil conversation at mn.braverangels.org.
A as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
And we've got him, Steve Fink, on the program with us, talking about things going on here in the state of Minnesota. Steve, so I find it interesting the governor has yet to decide, or at least let us know if he's going to run for governor or not. Again, he sounds like he is. But in that mix, this is just the show's opinion. if he's going to stay, he should announce that before he calls a special session. They're still looking at a special session for guns. My saying that is if he says I'm out, then calls a special session, he's a lame duck. So that seems to me it makes sense to be the order. Your thoughts on the governor getting in or getting out and a special session to make up some laws for guns?
I'm surprised that he's considering running for a third term. I thought, given the continuing bad news, all the fraud continues to pile up. It's hard to even keep track whether it's a new program that they've uncovered. It's
very true.
The stuff I read, it's over $1 billion now, maybe of fraud.
Yep.
So I'm surprised that that wasn't enough to send him to the sidelines to kind of regroup and go from there. Special session. I think I would find it one of the great hypocrisies. The Democrats held both the House, Senate, and the governor's mansion two terms ago. Spent the 18 billion or 17 billion, whatever the dollar amount was. Why didn't that legislation, wasn't that introduced then and passed then? They didn't need any Democrat or Republican help to get that done. So it just strikes me that this whole issue seems to be maybe the poster child for political games, because if you really wanted to do that, you could have done that 2 years ago, and you would need one Republican vote. But suddenly it's not.
They did get red flag laws passed. Dameth, Speaker of the House Dameth, and the DFL caucus leader, Zach Stephenson, I believe is how you pronounce it, they have gotten together. They kind of agree. They think they could get something done on some mental health issues, but they're not coming to terms on actual gun legislation. Dameth comes out, says she's ready to go with that. Stephenson said, however, the moment calls for us to do something. This according to NPR. We're hearing that from the families of the victims. We're hearing from the communities at large. We're hearing from the state. People are tired of gun violence, which may all be true, sir. But is there a worse time in the world to make legislation than when you're in the height of something like that, when those feelings are like that? When has that ever made good legislation?
100% correct. It's always emotions carry the day instead of rational thought. And these are horrible things that these families have gone through with the Speaker of the House, her assassination and her husband's. I mean, these are horrible things. And but the reaction should not be, well, let's get something passed without really making sure it makes a difference. We can feel good about stuff. Geez, I feel good. Look what I did. Look at the vote I cast, but did it do any good? And that's the key.
We had a senator, I think it was a senator, could be a House person, but anyway, came on and said, well, at least we can get that legislation passed that was pulled out by the judge in Ramsey County, the binary trigger. We can at least get that passed. We can all agree that it was passed once. We could put it back. And I said, but it doesn't fix anything that we're talking about. It didn't have anything to do with the Hortmans, the Hoffmans, the rest. Mental health, in my opinion, does. And now, again, I don't know what the answer to this is, so I'm saying please don't rush into it. But we had a guy naked in the Capitol running around sitting probably in Nick Frent's seat. Does he know that? Has he watched? If I was Senator Frent, I'd want video that the guy wasn't sitting in my seat or I'm getting a new chair. Anyway, that guy gets taken to the hospital and saying he's the governor and talking like he thinks he's the governor. And that's not enough to get him a visit with Dr. Phil at the hospital because he wasn't crazy enough. We have a problem with mental health issues. I believe that to be true.
Huge problem with mental health. And, it's no secret in the 60s and 70s, whatever those years, they cleaned out all the mental health institutions because a lot of them were nasty. But the result of that is a massive homeless problem with people not sure if they're coming or going. And then now with the opening, the liberation or the liberalization of all the drugs, these guys they have no chance.
Yeah. We got to do something. Again, I don't want knee-jerk reaction. That's what I'm not asking for, but there's no reason to get people's hopes up that something's going to happen when the numbers aren't there. 67 is 30, actually 32, 34 right now. You're not going to get anything passed, so don't pretend to people that you're going to go do something and do nothing. Let it go. We have a session coming up in February. I think we can rate that wrong. Steve, I appreciate you being on the program. I didn't miss Nick at all. Senator French.
I text Nick during the timeout here, and I don't know. I'm not sure where he is, but he got back and said, "Hey, can you send me the link? I can hop on for a minute or two." But I never
we don't need him. Get out of. He wants to be on. He can take the time. No, he was doing something, I'm sure. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you a ton.
Good to talk to you, Al. Thanks very much. Have a great week.
You as well. Steve Fink on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.